Craig. I think, as I said at the start when I introduced the agenda, let's get on the same page. Let's understand what we mean by what a framework is. If you wouldn't mind clarifying that to us, please.
Yeah, I mean, really what we're trying to do is there are many methodologies out there. Most of them are pretty linear, and we're trying to create a big picture canvas, if you like, so a view of, what are all the moving parts when you try and create impact and change in an environment. And when you can see the outline of that big picture through a framework, then you're able to collaborate more effectively. You're able to align on goals and objectives more effectively. You're able to do all the whatabouts, so what does this really mean? What about this element of the framework? And we'll get into the details, so I'm not going to do that now. But it's really to create a big picture outline that we can start doing a bit of paint by numbers for the transformation that needs to happen to impact communities, and create the skills and create the assets and the solutions that those communities need. Does that make sense? Liesl, you're on mute.
Thank you. I think it does. I think to summarize it in one sentence, if I understood you correctly, is that the framework provides the structure that we need to collaborate to achieve more than what we can envisage, even with us agreeing on a goal that we want to. So it helps us focus. And to your point, the whatabouts, what is very important to understand from that perspective. Good. I think with that in mind, can we then, my screen froze, can we then answer the question, Craig? There are so many frameworks out there, whether it's business frameworks, strategy frameworks, and what we've also seen popping up a lot over the last couple of years, 18 months or so, are frameworks talking to social impact. Why do we need another framework?
Yeah, honestly, we're still experimenting with this, but what we've seen is that many of the frameworks that exist, and we created our own democratizing entrepreneurship framework as an example. We've done a lot of research and investigation and learning around the ABCD framework, which is asset-based community development, if you haven't come across that. In our traditional digital business, we've used lean startup, agile design thinking, so all of these have their place, and they have value in a particular context. There's jobs to be done with customer discovery. And then, of course, there's the sustainable development goals. And we've done a lot of work on looking at how we can make the sustainable development goals more relatable on the ground. If you say to somebody, would you like to see no poverty? Obviously they would. Would you like to see no hunger? Obviously they would. That's fine as a goal, but so what? What can we do to actually make a real difference in the context of the SDGs? And we've latched on to SDG 17 because we believe that if we continue to have a scarcity mindset and try and compete with one another and hoard the assets that we have and not share resources, we're going to achieve far less. So we really are looking to leverage and collaborate effectively as much as possible. But getting back to frameworks, the other framework that we did a lot of work on and we use it extensively is the exponential organizations framework. So the exponential transformations sprint playbook with its attributes. And that also works in the context of corporate transformation. But we find that, in the community context and even in the context of sustainability and purposeful impact, impact in making an impact in ecosystems that create sustainable jobs, it's too corporate. It's too, the language is too much consulting speak, and there's too much to learn. You basically got to be an MBA to get it, quickly. And what we've tried to do is go back to the fundamentals and build something that people can go on a journey to make it relatable and understandable and applicable right now. So what is the thing that I can do now to move the needle is part of what we're trying to address.
Yes, Craig.
Hopefully that clarifies why we think we need another framework.
Yeah, and I think, Craig, one of the points we made at the beginning and also in the promotion of this event is that with our partners at Gluka, we've been working on the ground now also in underserved communities. And we took our knowledge and our experience around all these frameworks that you've mentioned, and working with other people, social entrepreneurs and enterprises as well in these environments. And we need to find something that is practically applicable right now to the points you made. And that is really what drove our passion to design a framework that will achieve exactly that.